So let's get on to makeup. Excuse me. Foundations, I really think if you have oily skin or acne, no matter what type of skin you have, sheer is good. High coverage in areas you need it is good. Full coverage everywhere is bad. Sheer coverage everywhere is, and then no covering up the blemishes if you're someone who feels the need to cover up your blemishes, bad. So what I would say is take something that's going to be good for an oilier skin, something that either has like a powder built into it, like I know that Hourglass makes their Immaculate liquid powder foundation, which is a liquid that has powder particles to help absorb extra oil, but it's not full coverage either, it just goes on the skin beautifully. I'd say L'Oreal True Match is one that I loved when I had oily skin. It goes on the skin beautifully, and this does have a powder built into it if I am not mistaken. I don't know if it does, honestly, but it does have mineral sunscreens in here, so there's some sort of mineral to help absorb any extra oil. And this is about medium coverage. It's a little bit too full coverage for what I prefer. I really prefer something sheer. But it will do the job. Another great one is the Almay TLC. This really does last a long time, and it's Almay has most of their foundations have their semi-adjusting pigments in them, which are typically just translucent pigments that, you know, make it look like it's blending into your skin. For whatever reason, I can still get coverage out of this, even though it's this shade and I'm this shade. So this is great. It does last a long time as well, and it just looks great on the skin. So something sheer, start off with, you can go in with Chanel Vita Lumiere Aqua, MAC Face and Body, Estee Lauder Invisible Fluid, even if you want like a tinted sunscreen, Shiseido tinted sunscreen is another option. And then go in with something that's heavy duty coverage. I really like cream foundations for that. The one that I'm wearing today and is my go-to, as you can see I've gotten use out of it, is the Bobbi Brown Oil Free Even Finish Compact Foundation. This, no matter what, I don't even know how, but it always just blends like seamlessly into my skin. And what you're going to want to do is take a small little pinpoint brush, almost like the size of a pencil, if you will. You're going to take the product, find the pimple, pat it on, pat around the area, kind of pat on the blemish and then pat a little bit around it, and then blend the area that is not on the blemish around, and so it blends into the skin, and so you have the most concentration of that cream foundation or that concealer, if you want, on the blemish, but you want to make sure you blend out the edges so that way it doesn't look so obvious. And you can do multiple layers of that. Oftentimes what I do is blend out even on top of the blemish, so I'm just kind of layering, and then the last layer I'll put the most concentration on the blemish or the dark spot or whatever it may be. But this is my favorite. I mean, I have used this all over and it looks flawless, but this is what I just prefer for blemish covering because it works so beautifully. Another great one, and they've redone their packaging recently, but Cover FX, their cream foundation. This is really waxy based, so it's even more full coverage than the Bobbi Brown, but I do find that their shade range, even though they have a lot of shades, a lot of them seem are very unusable. I don't know if that's changed since they redid it, but this is a really great, pretty full coverage, waxy based cream that is really going to stay on the skin and it's going to adhere to where you put it. So again, small brush, only focusing on the area. That's the last thing. If I see any of you girls or guys, or, you know, I don't know, whatever your gender may be, it's up to you, it's your life, more power to you. If I see any of you doing full coverage all over your entire face because you have a few pimples around your chin, I'm going to punch you. Because it's sort of like, I don't even know what the analogy I can make is like, if you just clean the entire house and the floors are not dirty, why would you vacuum? Focus on the kitchen counter that has like grease stains on it. Focus on the fingerprints all over the mirror, but don't vacuum the floor if it doesn't need it. So sheer coverage, honestly, it takes a little bit more time, but it's the difference between saying, oh, that girl's skin looks amazing, and not your makeup looks good. That is I think the goal that all of us should have in mind. So, like I said, sheer coverage and then spot conceal. And I would use definitely a stick or a pot concealer. I wouldn't use a liquid concealer because those just tend to not be full enough coverage. Even cream concealers, not a huge fan. And take a small brush, an eyeliner brush, a lip brush, something really small. The e.l.f. The $1 concealer brush is tiny, and that's my ideal choice for spot concealing. And just only put it on the area that you need it. So The only exception is if you have like a giant birthmark on your face, then you can go in with a larger brush and conceal that area. But if you have a few pimples, little brush, blend it out, blend out the edges, concentrate the most on that pimple, and then don't even mess with it. Except for setting with powder, because you need to set concealer with powder, because if not, it's just gonna like go away. Something silica based. Silica is a mineral that can hold, I think it's like 6 times its own weight in moisture, and so it's really great at setting makeup. Makeup Forever HD powder is pure silica, but it's overpriced, so go to Coastal Scents or something like that, like a even organic place that just sells 100% pure silica powder, and use that. Or something like this, the Tarte Smooth Operator has silica, kale, and clay, which is another really good absorbing ingredient, and this you just put it on the area and it's gonna just completely set it. And definitely, like, you can use either your finger or a sponge, or that's what those sponge tip applicators are good for, is setting powder on little areas, or just a, you know, small brush and pat it. You don't want to sweep it because then you're just going to move the concealer around, but pat it. And this is also great to stick down your T-zone because it's going to help to absorb extra oil. Even though the Chanel Poudre Universelle Libre is a beautiful powder, Clinique, whatever it's called, the blended face powder, powders like that, Laura Mercier, I think it's just like the invisible setting powder or whatever, one that's made to look really natural. Those are beautiful, they have a nice finish, but they tend not to be made with silica, so they're not going to be as oil absorbing as they should be. And then I recommend keeping blotting sheets with you. You can get them from really anywhere. I know Clean and Clear makes some, Sephora sells some, you can get some at organic stores, whatever you want. If in a pinch, you can use the seat covers. Ugh, it's gross, but, you know, hopefully no one touched it with their nasty fingers, but you can use that to blot the oil, or even if you take a Starbucks napkin, because those are recycled and they're really great at absorbing stuff. You just blot the oil first, then go in with a compact powder. This is what's left of my MAC Blot Powder, something that is made for blotting. This is a great one, something that is made for touch-ups, that's sort of just like pure silica powder. That's going to be your best option. You just need to make sure that when you take a puff or a sponge and you pat it, you wipe away the area or something. Otherwise it's going to be really stark white or obvious that you have powder there. And it tends to sit on top of the skin a little bit more. So bring a compact to touch up with. Blot first before you use powder, because putting powder and then dipping back in is just going to seal a layer of oil over your powder, and then it's just going to, you know, it's just like sprinkling flour on water. It's not going to do anything, but sprinkling powder on dough is going to, you know, that's more ideal. I'm full of analogies today. And then, okay, so there's that. So oily skin, so use something that has powder particles in it for your foundation. Set with silica powder. And then if you have a special event, I do not recommend this for every single day. Do not do this every single day. But something like a setting spray for stage. The Nye Final Seal Matte Makeup Sealer. It has a lot of alcohol in it, a lot of really awful stuff. But you spray this on top of your makeup, it is not going anywhere, because what the alcohol does is it dries up any surface oil or moisture, and so that basically just creates a film over your face and nothing's gonna budge. This is what actors use so that way their makeup doesn't melt off under the burning hot stage lights. I was in theater, I understand. It gets real fucking hot up there. But this is for a special event, or if you need it desperately, then this is an option, but don't do it every single day because it's just going to cause havoc on your skin. But you can go in with like Urban Decay or Scandinavia spray. Those are good. They don't have a lot of alcohol in them. They tend not to, at least. So they just spray this all over and that will sort of help you. That's about it that I can think of. So let's recap, shall we? Use a foundation that has powder particles in it, or use even a powder foundation or a cream foundation. Use a sheer coverage foundation all over, then spot conceal using a cream foundation, stick concealer, or pot concealer with a small detail brush, blending out the edges, concentrating only on the areas you need the coverage. Set the concealer and your T-zone with a silica-based powder. Bring blotting sheets with you to blot the oil throughout the day, and a compact powder that is made for oil absorbing with you so you can touch up throughout the day. And occasionally use heavy duty setting sprays, or every day you can use a simple non-irritating setting spray. So I hope that was helpful. I'm going to film my dry skin video after this. And if you have any more questions or you have anything to add that has been really helpful for you, like, please feel free. Like, this is the sharing community. We got to share all of our tips and hints and stuff to beat the man that is oil. So yeah, I will talk to all you guys later. Bye.